Take Back is the new action thriller that releases on digital download today and stars Michael J. White, Gillian White, and Mickey Rourke. Is this worth checking out? Do stick around to find out. Zara is a defense attorney living her best life with her husband and stepdaughter with a very good job until a viral video of her goes round, drawing the attention of a sex trafficking ring that she escaped from many years previously. So first and foremost, the concept in this is a very good one. This whole idea that this woman has escaped this sex trafficking ring that she was trapped in for many months and has gone to make something of her life, only for her past to come back and haunt her, thanks to a viral video going round, really demonstrating how the internet can be a dangerous place at times, especially when it comes to viral videos, because it can bring the person involved the most unwanted attention. It's a very great concept, and it is an obvious plot hook for a female action hero to really sink their teeth into. I really enjoyed this concept, and I love how a connection to the sex trafficking ring is slowly revealed throughout this movie. One thing I have to really give this film props for is the fact that it tells a story mainly through cinematography and subtle dialogue and exposition. It doesn't tell you anything up front, but it does make it plainly obvious what the connection is. So by the time the other characters figure it out, we already know as an audience, and we are well along for the ride. Obviously, you can't have a good action movie without good action set pieces. They really show that Zara is good at martial arts thanks to being trained by her husband, really nailing that point home. So you don't even question it when she's kicking people's ass despite being handicapped 3 or 4 on 1. There are some very nice action set pieces in this. A particular favourite of mine has to be within a meeting room. It is quite an entertaining scene. The one thing I do have to go negative about is the editing at times. So there's one action scene in particular that is very heavily edited, and you can't really appreciate the choreography taking place on screen, because Gillian White is actually an accomplished fighter in real life. So I don't see why they couldn't have blocked out these fight scenes and showed them in longer shots, because I feel like that would have made the film flow better and really demonstrated the power of Zara as a character. And there are other editing things that really bug me as well. There's one particular scene where Mickey Rourke, who plays the leader of the sex trafficking ring, takes off his sunglasses and puts them back on, and takes them off and puts them back on. He basically takes them on and off 4 or 5 times. It's honestly mind-boggling. Sometimes you see him taking them off, but other times he'll take them off, and then next shot on him, he'll have them back on. It's so inconsistent, this editing, and it can get very frustrating at times. And I also will say that a lot of the performances are phoned in. Gillian White is definitely not phoning it in. She is actually trying her best here, which is to be expected because this is their first feature-length lead role. She's trying everything to sink her teeth into that and really demonstrate her acting chops. But Michael J. White, at times, he is genuine, and it's quite easy to be genuine when you're literally acting alongside your real-life wife. But there are other times where he gets very comical and very cartoony in his overreactions to certain bits of information that are provided to him. And Mickey Rourke is unfortunately very much phoning this performance in. He starts off looking very chill, and you feel like, oh, he's under control, he's got this covered, but his tone never changes. No matter how different his situation gets throughout the film, his tone and expression, how he talks to any particular character, whether it be a henchman or someone that he genuinely has affection for, it never changes. And it is probably one of the weakest Mickey Rourke performances I have seen in quite some time, which is a big shame because I'm a big fan of Mickey Rourke. Like, he can do some very solid performances. If you've not seen The Wrestler, go watch The Wrestler, because that film is just absolutely fantastic. Another big flaw for me is the fact that the final act doesn't feel like a final act. It definitely tries to do something different to most action movies. You feel like in most action movies, there's always got a big face-off and action set piece. This film subverts the expectations of that, but what it replaces it with, while I do appreciate they're trying to do something different with it, it just drags on and on and on. You know where it's going to end, and this whole build-up and tense moment that is played up like a big thing in the movie. I just don't get emotionally invested in that. And that could be down to the editing, the pacing, or even just some of the wooden performances featured within it. There are also a couple of side characters in this. There's a couple of cop characters that, in the grand scheme of things, don't do anything in this movie. They are just there to give us exposition and nothing else. And their role is very much subdued. And there is no point for them to be racing to the finale come the end of the film. I feel they should have been background characters that spoke of it, but then disappear off for the rest of the movie, because they don't really add anything past the second act for me personally. And they do this whole thing as well, where a character is acting like they're on the main protagonist's side, but they're actually on the antagonist's side. But they do the cardinal sin of showing us their true loyalties quite early on. So when the reveal is made to our lead protagonist, it doesn't have that same weight and effect that we might have gotten previously. There's this whole thing that could have been built up, and this whole relationship that could have been built up, and it could have led to a great little twist moment that would have made us, the audience, as well as the lead protagonist, feel utterly betrayed. But the film fails to do that by showing its cards a little bit too early. Before I get into my grade, if you like what I do on this channel, consider clicking that like button and hitting subscribe button, while also making sure you hit that bell notification button so you never miss any more reviews like this one. But let's grade this, shall we? So overall, Gillian White does a great job as our lead protagonist in this. There's some good action set pieces, and the concept is absolutely fantastic. I'm surprised it hasn't really been approached before, or at least not in any film I have seen. But due to some very weak acting, some very poor editing, and a very lackluster final act, this film unfortunately doesn't reach the heights that it had the potential to hit. So overall, I'm going to have to say that Take Back is an okay cup of tea. So Take Back, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. Again, you like what I do in this channel, consider clicking that like button and hitting the subscribe and bell notification so you never miss any more reviews like this one. Coming up on the channel, obviously Godzilla vs. Kong. I will be getting that review out when it releases. I also saw quite a bad film recently that I don't have our review, but you are seeing me rant about this movie. Do let me know down in the comments below. But until next time, my name is Josh, I have been your movie apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video.